Arrgh, mateys, are you ready for today's video? Is how I was gonna start today's video until I realized this guy has absolutely nothing to do with pirates, neither the swashbuckling kind nor the Somalian kind. And just to tell you guys, my disappointment is on another scale. It's this guy. You know, you've seen him on YouTube Shorts before. This is Pirate Software. And what a strange story I have to tell you all today. I'm telling you right now, this one has so many twists and turns that you're not going to see coming, and the biggest one that I'm not even going to wait to get to, his dad is the fucking South Park guy. You know, the World of Warcraft clicking on his computer like that absolute badass who's going in and killing everyone's characters. That's his dad in real life. I'm not joking. It's just absolutely insane, and then you find out his dad is actually a Blizzard employee, and it starts making a little more sense. And you best believe his son was working there too. Pirate will scream to the rooftops letting people know that I worked at Blizzard, but people found out that he wasn't entirely truthful about what he was doing there. But no matter what you do, don't you ever call him a nepo baby. He hates hearing that so much.
Where people are calling me a nepo baby. For those who don't understand the term, a nepo baby is somebody who got their job only through nepotism, never accomplished anything in their career, and never did anything to deserve the position that they have. My father was the cinematic director for Blizzard for 23 years. He worked on basically everything going all the way back to the death and return of Superman and many other games, all the way up until now.
He wants people to believe that his father had such a menial part in getting him that job at Blizzard, but considering how high up he was in that company, there's no way that when they were looking through all the applications that his wasn't favored. You know, his was probably at the top or near the top of the list. And again, it didn't matter what he did in the past. It just mattered, oh yeah, that's South Park guy's son. Get him on in here. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. If your dad has a job and he's like, let me get my son in here, that's cool. But it's the way that Pirate reacts, and it's the way he's reacted to everything, which makes him now such a widely known internet lolcow. The dude has one of the most fragile egos you will ever see. He can never be wrong, and I mean that. I've never heard this dude just say, you know what, guys, throw my arms up in the air, I was wrong, you were right. And it doesn't matter how little of a topic this is, too. And one of the events that got people to really hone in on Pirate Software and go, man, this dude kind of sucks, was when he got invited to some World of Warcraft event earlier this year. There were a ton of other content creators involved, and they had some raid. Listen, I don't play World of Warcraft at all. I don't know the ins and outs of the game, but I know this. When you have enough mana, you go back and save your goddamn teammates. And Pirate was like, no, I will run from the fight. I will run from my teammates. I know you guys need saving right now, but fuck you. That's not happening. That's not in my plans, so sorry. Now, again, it's video games. Who cares, right? It's just some video game bullshit, and had he gone, my bad, guys, dumb move on my part, that would have been everything. But he didn't. He insisted time and time again that, no, I didn't have enough mana. No, I am in the right. And even when the dude on his team is trying to speak logic to him, Pirate is just like, he's not hearing it. And by the end, he basically just leaves the call as the guy's trying to give his opinion. It's one of those really pathetic moments that kicked off this whole story we're seeing here now.
You can just
heal him.
Yeah, just heal me. Just come back a little bit.
What's on me? Sitting bear form.
Snuppy, just run.
I can help a lot. Yep.
Pirate, why are you walking, bro?
What are you talking about? Why am I walking? Look at my mana.
This is savageable. Come
Innovate
on, man.
Just kill the mastiffs.
Innovate.
Innovate the healer. Kill the mastiffs. We got this. In the sense of
war something.
Do you see my mana? What am I supposed to do for you?
Just kill the mastiffs. One shot. Okay, we
more on the way.
Now. The mastiffs can be ice novas.
Dead.
Now we're gonna wait.
Nusara?
No.
Oh.
Okay, get out.
Run.
Evocation's on cooldown, man.
I can taunt last.
How much mana is Ice Nova? There's no that much mana.
You have a boss in you. You called run.
Getting slowed.
They called run.
Came up after,
I ran, and I was out of mana. I don't know what the hell they were expecting, dude. That does not make any sense. No, they overpulled 2 pulls and the boss. Like,
fuck.
No.
Oh no.
I mean, the regular ogres can still be polyed. We just had the boss and like 5 mastiffs and 2 ogres. We could have polyed 1 ogre, killed 1, and then walked it out.
Yes, literally, just even an ice nova would have been enough.
You guys pulled that when I had...
You instantly ran out, bro. You instantly ran. You didn't even look
As
back.
much as you're angry right now, of course I ran.
I'm not angry at all.
You overpulled 2 packs. You overpulled 2 packs and a boss. I had 1,400 mana left. I had to spend all of that mana to try and put it on Blizzard to save you guys in the first place, and nothing left. You weren't paying attention to party resources, you overpulled, and you weren't paying attention to where the boss was. That's not on me.
Yeah.
But there wasn't even like any like information. We are just yapping about useless stuff. Do you see my point?
I mean, yeah. But, I mean, I called it the boss coming though, but at that point, maybe it was too late to move back.
Like, you're telling me like a rank 1 mage would not like at least to try Frost Nova there? Like you're not even like in danger.
Oh, I'm 100% in danger.
Try a Frost Nova. Like,
100%.
No, you're not.
No, 100% in danger. When your shot color says run, it's time to run, you run. That is how that works. You were the shot color, you called for run, I ran.
I'm not a shot caller.
And I was out of mana.
Actually, I'm a noob, bro. I think I have way less experience than you have.
Oh, dear God.
And I can still see that I can at least use a Frost Nova there.
Okay, then go roll a mage and do it.
You were the first person that ran away and didn't even look back. Literally.
This is the second time. This
you
is
could
the
have at least said like the boss.
You're just gonna talk over me? Is that what we're doing now?
Well,
we just gonna talk over me? Is that all? Is that all we're doing?
I'm giving you my point.
Okay. You done giving your point? You good?
Yes. I'm done.
Okay. Cool. You go roll a mage then. See you around. Jesus.
I don't think that's
insane shit. No. That is outrageous, dude. You can't blame me for that shit. You make a bad poll, you make a bad call, that's on you, not on anybody else.
Donated 6.
This is something that could have been avoided so easily had he just gone, yeah, you know, probably should have just stayed back with you guys, shouldn't have ran away from the team. But no, he had to be so smug about it in the end there. The guy wasn't even really talking over him as well. I thought they were just trying to have a conversation. And you know what he reminds me of? You know, back in the day, we all had that one guy. And I feel like no matter what game it is, no matter what console it was on, when you were playing video games with your friends, there was always one person who could never take responsibility. Whenever you lost a match because of them, it was always someone else's fault. For me, it was the original Modern Warfare 2, search and destroy lobbies. You have kids just trying to trick shot, do some stupid shit instead of just planting the bomb. And then, of course, that ain't on me. That ain't on me. That's on you guys. That's Thor. That's Pirate Software. He's that guy. He's the one who you just roll your eyes at every time he joins the party. And if your friend was Pirate, if he was the guy who kept joining your lobby, you'd see him online all the time. This guy loves video games. Hell, he even makes them. Years ago, Pirate created a game called Heartbound, and Heartbound is basically just a knockoff Undertale. And he has worked on this so little over the past few years after initially showing some promise. And this is where his claim of being a game developer comes from. This kind of goes back to the Blizzard thing. You'd assume, oh, he says he worked at Blizzard, he must have been a game developer there. No. He tries to vastly inflate his importance at that company when really he was just in charge of like phishing emails or something. But this game right here shows that if he was in charge of like a game development studio, it would just take years for anything to come out. Like Grand Theft Auto 6 taking 13 to 14 years to come out, it's absolutely insane, but considering with like the level and the scale of the game, it's understandable, kind of, to an extent. But this, there's no way you've been working on this for like 7 to 8 years and still aren't done chapter 3 or 4 or wherever you're at. And so, like 2 minutes ago, I said, this guy loves video games, you know? But actually, you know, it's quite the opposite. Thor doesn't want video games to stand the test of time. Because if the World of Warcraft situation is where people just saw Thor for what he really was and went, man, this guy's kind of a douchebag, this situation right here we're about to talk about is where shit hit the fan. And people who were still giving him benefit of the doubt and were still fans of Pirate Software completely turned. And that's where he gave his takes on the Stop Killing Games initiative. Thor is in staunch opposition of this movement. Why? Because as a game developer, he feels that when a live series game like Like, it decides to end, and I say it decides to end when the developers say, we're not making as much money as we want anymore, we're gonna shut this off and everyone who loves this game can just go eat shit. That's fine, because our bottom line isn't looking good enough. He's talking about this from a business point of view. I can see that clearly. But the purpose of this whole movement is so that all these games that people have known and loved don't just get lost to time. Just because a developer decides, not making enough money anymore, sucks to be you guys who love this shit, that shouldn't fly. A prime example of why this is so messed up is the video game The Crew. I don't know if you guys have heard about this situation, but apparently, even if you bought the game online for like $50, $60, however much it costs, they decided that they're taking the game down. The game requires a constant online state, and because they took the servers down, you can't, play online anymore, and the game becomes unplayable. It's just a racing game with a big open world that's like, the game's supposed to be the map of the United States. They don't have it there virtually one-to-one, obviously, but they do a pretty good job at it, and the game was pretty fucking cool from what I can remember. And now, you just can't play it. You just straight up can't play it. Like, if you bought that game, they're like, alright, thanks for the money. Sorry, game's over now. See you later. And Thor's about to give you his whole opinion on this situation. How he thinks this is going to affect live service games too. The free-to-play ones that have tons of microtransactions, which basically just make it another good you can buy. I don't know, to me, it's like when you shell out your money for something, you should have your shit. And to me, the opinion that the developers should be able to just take shit away from you that you bought at any time because they feel like it, it's pretty fucking scummy. But like I said, maybe Thor will change your mind on it. Probably not. Probably not. You're probably going to dislike him a lot worse after what you hear now.
The Stop Killing Games initiatives is basically, we don't want single-player games to have DRM that the developers can turn off and thus render the single-player games inactive anymore. This is what they want to change. The way that they're going about it is using very vague language that makes it so that even live service games could be caught in this net, which means every multiplayer game gets caught in the net. Stop Killing Games comes from the guy, live service is a scam. This is not based on vagueness. It is their intention to have all games to be updated to be single player, even if it was an MMO originally. Do you have a source for that information for me? Because I'm going to be real with you, if that's the case, all of this can eat shit then. I drop the mask entirely. I have no qualms about that. If the intention is to turn all live service games into single-player games, they can eat my entire ass.
Look, maybe I'm being very dense here, right? But to me, if you have a live service game and you are taking people's money, if you offer microtransactions, then yes, you should have some type of obligation to keep that game online in some form or fashion so that people can go see the items that they bought. Say you turn a game, right? Like imagine World of Warcraft, say you turned it single player. There's not much you can do. You're going to see nobody running around. I know I said earlier I don't really know much about World of Warcraft, but I've seen the South Park episode. I know how it works. So it goes single player, right? You can't do anything. The developers say it's offline. Everything you bought is null and void. See you later. And to me, it's like you should at least keep it up so people can go back and see what they bought, see all their old shit, have it be able to transfer it or something. And if not, refund them. Or don't take their money in the fucking first place. I feel like if you decide to take your business offline after you've been collecting money from people for items that they may still be using, it's then on you to figure out what you're going to do with those people next, not just leave them out high and dry. But that's what Pirate's fighting for here. He's like, nope, this is how this shit works, and that's that. And that's what Stop Killing Games is for. It doesn't want all these games that people love playing to just be lost to the sands of time, like a lot of old movies from way, way back in the day. Now, I was using World of Warcraft as an example, but I'm curious here. Is Pirate's Hearthstone game, or Hearthstone, what is it? It's the end of Heartbound. I was gonna say, it's the end of Earthbound, right? Yeah, Heartbound. Is this considered a live series game? So when Pirate decides he doesn't want to do it anymore, he just takes it offline and that's the end of it? Because this game seems like a pretty story-driven, narrative-based game. It's an RPG, and so what? At any moment you can decide that's it. Anyone who's bought anything from this, that's just it. You don't get a refund, you don't get nothing. It seems wrong. It really does, and showing that you're this against a movement that's only for people to want to play the games they love to play and not have them ripped away from them is just a weird take for him to have. And obviously, it left people scratching their heads. And of course, he explains his stance more, but it doesn't get any better.
A kill switch, essentially. It's a form of planned obsolescence.
No, it's not a form of planned obsolescence. It's called the game no longer being profitable and we turned it off.
Where publishers are destroying games they've already sold to you.
No, we're turning off servers that are no longer viable for a game that is no longer making money. Not just publishers either, developers as well.
But keeping your money. And this is...
Of course we keep your money, because you bought the experience, you experienced it, and then the game was over, and eventually the community dies, and we turn the servers off.
It's all preventable. Some people don't understand that.
It is not preventable. You can't play World of Warcraft as a single-player game.
I've compared this before to studios from a century ago burning their own films after they were done showing them.
That is not the same as World of Warcraft servers going offline after the game stops making money.
This would also apply to free-to-play games that contain microtransactions.
What? We want your free-to-play game that contains microtransactions to be playable indefinitely in a single-player setup in case your studio doesn't make enough money to support that free-to-play game with servers.
Because if you purchased a microtransaction as a good, then the game is made unplayable, well then you just lost your goods.
No, you had control of it over the time that they were on the servers, which is why it's part of the EULA and TOS for those games. You have access to those assets for the time that the game is online and in service. It is a multiplayer, server-side video game.
Yeah, my friends, this is why Stop Killing Games exists in the first place. All Thor can mention here is money, money, money. And I get it, I mentioned it earlier, it's a business, he's a game developer. But the argument that once something stops becoming profitable that you should just rip it away from people it just seems wrong. Something he says there really struck me as odd, and it's something I don't see a lot of people bring up when talking about this. When he's going down the list of how these companies decide to take these games offline, he says, oh, the communities die and then we take them offline. No. 99% of the time, the communities die because you take them offline. There are certain people shelling money into games years after their peak, and in Thor's mind, those people don't matter. Once the company decides we're done with this shit, they're done with this shit. And those people who have poured thousands of dollars in there are moved to the wayside so you guys can focus on your next profitable venture. Do you see why people want this shit to stop? Single player games, without question, absolutely should never be delisted or taken offline just like the crew is right now. And if your live series game is just up there for people to have fun and you find yourself, after too long you can't keep running these servers, that's fine, take it down. But don't be offering hundreds and hundreds of dollars of microtransactions in the meantime and leave people with no way to access it after the fact. Pirate doing all this and being so against this movement is what made people go, man, fuck this guy. This is unbelievable.
Went back to the doctor. Doctor's like, hey, sometimes in your early 30s, your voice can change as a man, and it's effectively second puberty. This is what I used to sound like. That's what I used to look like to this 5 years ago. Wait for this. This is awful.
My hot dogs are freshly picked. I'm gonna have to peel it. I'm gonna have to peel my hot dog.
Yeah, that was it.
There's so much other little shit that people have been calling out Pirate for, and all of it is not going to get gotten to in today's video, but I guarantee you if you want to know this dude's full story, there are so many great videos out there on him. But one of the things I keep seeing people call out Pirate for is the apparent changing of his voice. Pirate back in the day had a completely different voice, and when I say back in the day, I mean 5 years ago, and this is a man who is in his 30s right now. Pirate claimed that he had a second puberty, and this was the cause of his big voice change. Now, it could be that. It could be a second puberty, or it could be just a man who noticed his numbers going up and felt very self-conscious about his voice, and so then he tried to deepen it a little bit. I'm not good at deepening my voice. I can only do it when I'm doing a Tofiachu impression. Oh my god!
Was that also the time you decided to deepen your voice?
Yeah, I know, right? Yes, no, that happened when I was 33, man. It was super weird. If you go watch videos of me, my voice is high-pitched.
I can't believe they're both trying to drink water at the same time.
Whether you believe he's purposely deepening his voice or just actually going through a second puberty is up to you. It doesn't really matter. It's just another of many cases of him being dishonest about something. Just like this clip we're about to see here. Remember that very incredibly fragile ego I told you guys about? He can never just be like, man, I can't figure this out. Chat, I need some help. he was playing this game right here where you gotta solve some puzzles on the wall. Thor was having a pretty rough time trying to figure out what words went where. That was until he kinda just subtly looked down right at chat. And within seconds, he walked back over to those letters, and just out of nowhere, Thor solved the puzzle like the genius he is. And he'll just sit there and be like, what?
Wait a minute. I understand. Okay, think, ponder, realize. It's all about thinking about something. It's different words for this, and these statues are the thinker. Okay.
This is such stupid shit, but it just proves that, again, he wants to be looked at as this dude who's like, he's an incredibly smart guy, he doesn't need anybody's help for this shit, and he's gonna act like he did this all on his own. This is why people call him a fraud. Look at the way he's putting on this facade of being like, wow, like, my brain just had this amazing idea, I've solved the puzzle out of nowhere, just seconds after looking at the chat where people were most likely spamming the answer. But you know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Thor is this all-knowing, puzzle-solving savant that doesn't need anybody's help for shit, and he was only looking at chat to make sure there were no naysayers who were gonna speak up about the Stop Killing Games movement. That's what I assume Thor does. He spends all day just playing puzzles, doesn't have time for anything, not even his own video game, hell, not even time for his dad's birthday.
You didn't call me, neither did your brother. You guys both ignored me for my birthday.
That isn't true. I sent you a text.
True. No, you did not.
Bullshit.
That was last year.
Bullshit.
I got nothing. You sent me one last year.
Did I send you one last year? Am I a shitty son? Oh man. Yes. It was last year. Wow.
I want everybody to know that Thor did not say anything to his father for his birthday a month ago.
If it makes you feel any better, I didn't text you anything after that last happy birthday, so it's still the same one.
He just always has to be right. No, I know I texted you. That's bullshit. Oh, I guess not. Sorry. Ha, let's just laugh about it. And honestly, it's whatever. I don't care about this guy's family dynamic, but really, look how sad his dad looks. Like, I kind of feel bad. Like, this dude, he's sitting here, he's just like, yeah, you know, you did forget it, you and your brother. And maybe the guy just looks like this. Maybe this is just his face 24/7. This is him at the end here trying to crack a smile to be like, yeah, okay, whatever, Thor. Actually, never mind. I thought he cracked a smile at the end. No, he didn't. And can we talk about how crazy it is to blow this man off on his birthday, not even send him a text, basically not talk to him for an entire year? For one, it's your father. For two, it's the man who got you everything you have right now. I guarantee you there would be no pirate software if you didn't initially work at Blizzard all those years ago. And you wouldn't have gotten that job at Blizzard if it wasn't for your dad working there years before that. So show this man some respect, pirate. Really, just doesn't. I did kind of feel bad watching this one. I'm not trying to let my emotions overtake this, but I was just like, come on, just really, like, the dude looks pretty upset at that one. Just be like, hey, happy birthday, by the way, Dad. Maybe that'd put a smile on his face. Be like, hey, I know it's a little late, but happy birthday. To jump back to the World of Warcraft stuff for a little bit, after that whole situation went down, Pirate made a statement because people were really getting on his case for it. So the clan he was a part of, or the guild, or the tribe, again, you can really see I have a very loose knowledge on this, but it was called Only Fangs. Very clever name, by the way. And he put out this very long, drawn-out post, basically giving his side of the situation. And you'd think when you see a post like this, it would just be like, hey, sorry for how I treated the people in there. Next time I won't try to be such a selfish dick, and we'll move on from here. So to everyone I affected, my bad, guys. But no. Not once did he ever take any accountability. Not once did he ever say, yeah, that was my bad. It was only stuff like, man, this sucks. lots of people taking stuff way too far, and it was just further proof for people to go, man, this guy really just will not, he won't budge. The dude will not take accountability for anything. He will never admit he's wrong, and that's something that when people notice it on the internet, they're going to call you out for. They're going to give you shit for. I see criticism sometimes in my comment section, and you can even go back and check. You'll find comments of me going, man, you know what? It's actually a good point. I'm not going to do that in my next video. And if someone were to do that to Pirate, I feel like his response would be more like, well, you see, who are you to be telling that to me? You know, I'm the one who does this. And it's like, no, that's not the point. That's not the point. You listen to people's takes on the things. You don't just disregard them because you think you know better. And that's something you see from this guy in spades. I mentioned earlier, too, that this guy was like a really popular name at one point. He was all over the YouTube Shorts algorithm. You probably saw him a lot. And over on Twitch, too, he was having these giant streams, having support on these streams that was unheard of. He had an incredibly rabid community, and one that was willing to support him without fail. One stream he even made tens of thousands of dollars on. And pretty quickly, though, this all kind of fell out from under him when, you know, everything we talked about just happened. But now, all these months later, people have exposed an alleged conversation between Pirate and one of his, people in the Twitch chat. And they're having a conversation where the guy says to Pirate, I did 50,000 bits at 20 seconds left. And Pirate says, okay, what's the alt account? And the guy says the name of it. Which, if this is true, just shows that Pirate had people in his chat basically manufacturing up hype. I don't know if he was sending these people money to do this, or if they were just doing this out of the generosity of their own heart and telling them, hey, we're going to do this here and there. But it just shows clear, collusion to make your stream bigger than it actually seems. If you're talking to people in the background saying, all right, you donate this, that's not how it works. Just get people to show up, and if they feel like you're providing them good content, they'll support you. You shouldn't be just doing this weird shit going hey, if you donate this big amount, maybe other people will be inclined to do it too. Because that's what he's doing here. He's trying to start a hype train, trying to get people to be like, whoa, someone just donated 50k bits, let's keep it going, guys. And that wouldn't be happening if he wasn't having this conversation right now. This is all alleged as of right now, but if this is true, again, it just shows the fragility of this man. Just how he was not able to go online and maybe earn stuff on his own accord. Why do you always need somebody to get shit for you? Whether it's your dad, whether it's these people in chat, just do it yourself, Pirate. You were pretty fucking successful, but then all this shit comes out. People find out that he's not the guy he showed himself off to be online, and former fans and tons of people are turning on him for that. And as I said a few minutes back, there are so many other situations we could talk about with Pirate, ones that, legally I don't really want to jump into because I don't know the ramifications of such a furry divorce talk, but maybe one of these days we can get into all that. And if you guys enjoyed this video, I strongly advise you to follow me over on Twitter at SmokeyMCC. I'll be talking about Pirate's antics a whole lot more over there. And also, if you want to hear more about this story, be sure to tune in to Kiwi Tapes' channel this Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Pirate's going to be one of the dudes we talk about this week on our podcast, Too High for Stupid. And if you've never listened to it before, I guarantee you'll enjoy stopping by this week. I know not too long ago the Stop Killing Games movement got enough signatures to actually be looked at over in Europe, and that is some great news. And if you can still support it, if you're still allowed to go sign it, I advise all of you to go do so. Even if you're not a big video game player, a movement like this can be very crucial for the preservation of all types of media, not just games, not just movies. People want to own the shit they buy, and they don't want it taken away. I think that's a pretty logical standpoint to have. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. If you don't think I did a very good job describing Pirate, let me know in the comments below. If you did like the video, let me know in the comments below. And actually, that's the most important thing here. Let me know your opinions on this whole situation. We are actually nearing the 4-year anniversary of when I started making videos on this channel, and I am having a pretty hard time, ladies and gentlemen, figuring out what we should do for the anniversary. If you guys have any ideas on that, let me know down below as well. I'm thinking, obviously, something regarding Chris Chan. It's been 4 years since the whole horrible situation between him, his mom, even including Isabella Jank happened, and it could be time to look at a retrospective on that. I don't know though. I want to know who you guys are interested in hearing more about. Is it someone like Pirate? Is it one of the guys we've covered in the past? Or is it someone entirely new? I'm trying to make a lot more content over the next couple months and on a whole bunch of different topics too. So I'm just curious as to what you guys would want to see. Now, to be fair, I always tell people when they ask me, hey, how do I get into making YouTube videos? I'll tell them, yo, just cover what you want to cover what you find funny. And for me, that's still what I've been doing since day one. And now, though, I want to know what you guys find funny. And so if you please would, let me know, but don't you worry. All the cast of characters you always see here aren't going nowhere. Probably be a Boss Man Jack video this week. Probably another Nova video coming soon. And until all that gets here, thank you guys for sticking around, and I will see you on the next one. Stay safe, everybody, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.